You don't have multiple problems. You're breaking the same rule over and over again. You think you need more training, more protein, more discipline. But none of this matters if your body is not responding. Because muscle growth is not about what do you do. It's about what your body allows. You go to the gym, you train hard, you eat your protein, you stay consistent, and yet nothing changes. Your physique looks the same, your progress slows down, or worse, it stops completely. And what do? You add more. More weight, more intensity, more frequency. But this is exactly where the problem begins. So let's make this very clear. Muscle growth follows one rule, and this is stimulus, recovery, response. So it's not just about the stimulus. It's not just about you going to the gym and train hard and lift heavy weights. It's not just your effort. It's actually all about response. So if your body doesn't respond to your training, muscle growth will not happen. Because you don't grow from training, you grow from adaptation. And adaptation only happens if the body is positioned to respond. So effort does not build muscle, but response does. Let me break this rule down for you because it's extremely important. So muscle grows from stimulus, recovery, and response. Now, what about the stimulus? Stimulus is actually mechanical tension that happens during the exercise. Muscle fiber disruption. So basically you're breaking down your muscle fibers. Also, you are fatiguing your nervous system. You're triggering the whole nervous response to your training. And you are causing connective tissue stress. So this is that stimulus part. You're not building muscle here during the stimulus. You're breaking it down. So stimulus is basically the cause. So you need to understand that because stimulus or training is not where you are building your muscles. It's very important. After that, you have recovery. So what happens? Muscle repair takes recovery anywhere from 48 to 72 hours. That's a typical recovery span of your muscle tissue. Also, during the phase of recovery, you are replenishing your glycogen that you have used during the exercise. You also have hormonal normalization. The hormones change, go back to basic, to balanced level. But in this phase of recovery, you also have something very important, and this is connective tissue recovery. And that connective tissue recovery actually takes longer than muscle recovery. You also have central nervous system recovery. So you see this recovery process, the recovery side, the time, it's extremely complex, and muscle recovers faster than the system. So you have to really understand that because this is the major problem among many lifters, and I will explain that in a minute. Then we have the response, which is adaptation and growth. So what happened? During response, your muscle size increases. This is called hypertrophy, obviously. Your strength improves and you have much better efficiency. And this can only happen if your recovery is complete, if the stress was sufficient, and if your nutrition has supported the whole cycle. So how long it takes for the full cycle to complete? So you have a stimulus, you have recovery, and you have adaptation. Now, in reality, muscle recovers within 48 to 72 hours, but connective tissue requires much more. So connective tissues obviously means tendons and ligaments. It takes 5 to 7 days. So you see how much longer is almost double in time for your connective tissue to recover. And your nervous system, especially after your hard workouts, takes anywhere from 3 to 7 days. So a complete cycle realistically takes anywhere from 5 to 7 days. This is individual and also it depends on steroids. So if you're a steroid user, you may recover a bit faster, but if you're natural, you will need definitely 7 days to fully recover. And this is actually where most people get it wrong. Because people think, oh, my muscles are not sore anymore, so I can train them again because they have fully recovered. But this is wrong. What they are ignoring is they're ignoring tendon stress, joint recovery, and also CNS fatigue. So it doesn't matter if your muscle has fully recovered. You want to train that muscle again when your full system, the whole system, is fully recovered. So what is going to happen if you train your muscle again within 2 or 3 days? Because the muscle has recovered, apparently. So training again too early means that you interrupt recovery. So you didn't even recover that muscle connective tissue on your CNS, but you have stressed it again. This will obviously reduce adaptation and accumulate fatigue, and result will be absolutely no growth or even regression. You can start losing muscle by overtraining in this way. Now, most people also make another mistake. They believe that if I train harder, I will grow more. So they will start chasing failure, exhaustion, more weights. But the body doesn't work like that. It doesn't reward your effort. It rewards balance. So if your balance is broken, the growth stops. If you start chasing failure, more weights, more exhaustion, you will simply overtrain yourself and the muscle will not grow. It can even start regressing. Now, this is another mistake. It's basically the same mistake but in different form, and this is when it gets interesting. And this is actually training to failure. So when you push every set to the limit, what happens? Recovery is impaired, fatigue accumulates and your performance drops, so your body cannot respond. Another cause of regression or stagnation is training too often. As I mentioned, your muscle may feel ready in 2-3 days, but your tendons are not, your joints are not, and your nervous system is not. So the quality of the stimulus dramatically drops, the risk of injury goes up, and you're basically getting stuck because you're not recovering. Therefore, you will not adapt, you will not grow. Another problem, which belongs to the same mistake, is actually eating diet which is very high in carbohydrates. So when you eat high amount of carbohydrates day after day, you get into the state of constantly elevated insulin. Now, when you get into that state, your insulin sensitivity drops, meaning your cells will receive less glucose and amino acids, which are absolutely necessary for muscle growth. And this is because you're becoming insulin resistant. What actually happens is that insulin receptors on the surface of your muscle cells, they start closing down because they become resistant. And the body cannot deliver, insulin cannot enter the cells, and you cannot actually get all the necessary amino acids. So the body is producing more and more insulin in order to fix the problem, but actually by producing more insulin, the body is becoming more insulin resistant. And this is the problem with high carb diets. Another problem, which belongs to the same mistake, is eating too often. I've done videos on this subject in which I explain in detail why is eating less frequently much better for you than eating 5-6 times per day. And eating more often, let's say 5-6 times per day, is doing the same problem. Insulin never drops because every time you eat a meal, especially if that meal has carbohydrates, and this is most of the time the case, people eat 5-6 meals, protein and carbs, your insulin is constantly high. Your body never resets and your growth response becomes much weaker because of the same issue that you will have with lowering insulin sensitivity. There are also some invisible limiters, and this is what most people never understand. Muscle growth is limited by your system, not just your muscles. So your muscles may be ready, but your body is not. So what limits the growth? Number one is connective tissue fatigue. Tendons and ligaments are fatigued, they are exhausted, and you will not be able to perform as efficiently as you would if these connective tissues are fully recovered. Also, your nervous system fatigue. When you repeat every muscle 2 or 3 times per week, your nervous system becomes overstressed, and again, you won't be able to recover, hence adapt, grow. And this is the problem that happens often. Then you have hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalance means that training too often is going to cause your body to produce too much cortisol, which is a catabolic hormone. So you are trying to be in an anabolic state as much as you can. And if you overtrain yourself, if you hit every muscle too often, you will start producing more cortisol than growth hormone and testosterone. So this will simply kill your potential for growth. And another problem is that you have poor metabolic environment, which you will cause by overtraining. So again, hormones will be completely disrupted and you will be in completely non-productive metabolic environment. So your muscles may be ready, but your body is not prepared to grow unless all your connective tissues, also central nervous system and hormones are fully recovered and in good balance. The good news is we can fix this, and not by doing more, but by doing it properly. So what should you do? Number one, you need to train within recoverable limits, meaning every muscle should be preferably trained once a week, so you have enough time to recover not just the muscle, but also connective tissues and central nervous system. Number two, you need to focus on controlled tension, because only controlled tension will cause that high level of mechanical tension, which will actually be trigger for muscle growth. So you will break down your muscle fibers optimally and cause the super compensation, meaning recovery and growth of new muscle tissue. Number three, you should stop chasing failure in every set. I've devoted few videos on that subject. So if you want to learn more about going to failure and why is that actually bad for you, watch those videos. Number four, you need to support your hormones. This is especially important for people who are constantly eating high protein, low fat, high carb diets. You need fat, you need cholesterol in your diet in order to support your hormones, and especially testosterone, which is cholesterol-based hormone. Number five, control your carbohydrates. By controlling your carbohydrates, eating just necessary minimum or not at all, you will be in the constant state of high insulin sensitivity. So your body will produce just enough insulin to deliver amino acids to your cells. Nothing more than that, because the hyper production of insulin will make you fat. Number six, you need to reduce your meal frequency. It's much better to eat 2 or 3 meals per day than 5 or 6 meals per day. 2 or 3 meals, which will be made predominantly of protein and fat and no carbs or very little carbs, will be much better for your consistent, steady supply of amino acids to the cells, rather than smaller meals more often, which will keep you in high insulin environment, and also it will cause spikes not just of your blood sugar but also amino acids. And every time you have a spike, you're going to have a drop. You don't want that. You want steady supply of amino acids, and that can only happen if you have 2 or 3 big meals made predominantly of protein and fat. And number 7, you need to structure your training and nutrition. So everything that I have just mentioned means that the structure is extremely important. Right number of workouts per week, right amount of sets, right amount of reps in every exercise, and also diet that will stimulate your muscle growth and fat loss. And when you do all of this, your body will start responding. And if you want to learn more about muscle growth, fat loss, most effective training splits, training systems, number of sets, number of reps, you can find all of this in my ebooks, which are fully loaded with detailed explanation about everything that you always wanted to know about bodybuilding. So simply click that link in the comments and you can download my ebooks. Also, I have just released my new bodybuilding blueprint course, in which I personally demonstrate and explain the most effective exercises for every single muscle group. So in these 8 videos that belong to the course, you will have everything that you need in order to learn how to exercise with perfect form. So if you're interested in learning that, simply click on the link below in the comments and you can access my ebooks and also my bodybuilding blueprint course. It is very important that you stop asking, am I doing enough? And you should actually ask yourself, is my body responding? Because this is the real question. You don't need more effort. You don't need more weights. You don't need more complexity. You simply need a system that your body can adapt to, because muscle is not built on what you do, but simply on what your body allows. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video, and also send me your comments. And I will see you in the next video.